Good afternoon and welcome to Flat Earth Debate with me, Nathan Oakley. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the main chat while the show is live, and if you would like to join the live debate, there is a link below this video in the information box. Simply mute the watch page, the page you are currently watching, and join the debate live. Currently, you'd be able to express your views entirely unopposed, as there is currently nobody here, but if you would like to join and express your opinions specifically on the shape of the Earth, feel free to do so. As I say, there is a live chat which will also periodically run up alongside, but for the time being I am going to transition across to my photographs so I can share the link on Twitter, Skype and Facebook. If you are currently in the live stream, I would encourage you to also do the same. Feel free to share both the join link and the watch link to this show. Once more, if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Just been sharing the link on Facebook, Skype and Twitter to various different people. So hopefully we'll have at least a few members of the audience to join us soon. We have got a couple of people in there. Bling Bling, BS of the ISS and Turquoise Dragon. Good to see you both. Thank you for being here. And thank you very much, Bling Bling, for sharing the link. Much obliged. As I said in the chat, if you did want to express your views, now is probably the best time to do it because you'd be completely unopposed. You can just simply spout rhetoric. Link is in the info box, by the way. We have been joined by a few more guests. I may as well transition across to the chat feed. So good to see you, Joven Trendmaker. Thank you for being here, along with Daylight Ohio. Thank you very much for being here. Good to see you. May as well do my series of plugs. So if you are new to this channel, you're going to let me do my plug. Come here, you monster. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to join the show live, there is a link in the info box below this video, and as it stands, as there's no one on, you'd be able to express your views entirely unopposed. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the main chat. There are only 2 rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you will be asked not to, and then you will be ejected. So it'll be a little bit more stringent now I'm running these shows on my main channel. The second rule is pretty basic. If you do get ejected, you are simply asked to only return on the next show, where you will be humbly and warmly welcome to do so. Anything other than that goes. So I'm not really here to be appealed to in terms of getting people to shut up, although if you can't physically hear, like with my munchkin playing on me, if you physically can't hear, I will ask you to stop talking over each other, simply so that whatever is being said can actually be heard. Other than that, I just don't want people to swear, so that the information that is on this stream remains broadcastable. Other than that, that's it. You know, just don't return if you're kicked, and don't swear and you won't be kicked. That's pretty much as simple as that. I won't interject very much. My purpose in being here isn't to express my views on the shape of the Earth. If you would like to see those, simply click through some of the videos on Nathan Oakley 1980, or my backup channel, just simply Nathan Oakley, and you can see many of my views being expressed with guests, vlogs, interviews and group shows like the one we did yesterday. So Martin Liedtke, myself and Jibby Jedi did a group show and expressed our opinions on heliocentric and flat Earth history. So this isn't what really my purpose in being here. My purpose is just to keep the Hangout running without it being spammed, without it being porn bombed, without it having constant interruptions where you can't literally hear any of the guests talking to each other. other, and to eject people if they start swearing. That's pretty much my purpose in being here. Although obviously, should somebody join now, I'd obviously have to chat to them, and I may, if I feel the need, interject with my opinion, as I reserve the right to do so. So I'm not going to be checked on not doing it, as it is in fact still my show. But there we go. So with that said, I'm going to transition back to my photographs after I say hello to anybody else who may have joined us. Maybe, maybe not. John Watson, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Turquoise Dragon, I think I already said hello to you. They Lie, Joven Trendmaker, Bling Bling of the ISS. Good to see you all. Hopefully we'll get a few more people join the chat, and then eventually we'll have a few debates on the show. These shows will run for about 2 hours, so if it is the case that there is an hour of dead air, so be it. I know, dead air! It's terrible, isn't it? But yeah, if there's only an hour of debating, that's just the way it's going to be. So, but yeah, again, I'll transition back to my photographs, and you may hear me do another plug for the show in a few minutes' time if nobody joins. Been joined by Mark Taylor. Thank you for being here, Mark. Good to see you. And Ray, I think it is, R-A-E. Thank you for being here. Frequencies eliminated. Good to see you. Good to see you, Christian. Hello to you too. Bill G, Flatastic. Good to see you also. Thank you for being here. Let Daddy do it. Let Daddy do it. Let Daddy do it. Now this isn't entertainment, I don't know what is. Let Daddy do it. Let Daddy do it. Oh, do it, do it. That's enough of that, I think. They've been joined by VICI Online 9.8U. Thank you for being here. Great name. We've also been joined by, I'm sure I saw someone else, Fake Tim Osman. Good to see you here. Heart smiley face. Thanks for tuning in. Should I do another plug? Yeah, why the hell not? So if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Yeah, you want people to subscribe. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs along the side of the channel. And if you'd like to join the debate live, there is a link in the info box below this stream. Come on, come away from there, you little sausage. So click on the link and you would be able to express your views, at least for the time being, entirely unopposed, as there is nobody here to challenge your views. That obviously may well change once you do join, but for the time being, at least, if you click on that link, the only thing I would ask is that you mute the live stream that you are watching now. So, no, don't do that. And then you are free to express your views. Pretty much as simple as that. Sorry, being slightly distracted by a little monster. I've been joined by David Quintana and Shed Rager #69. Good to see you. It says little sausage, ? Even creepier. Yes, I call my daughter Little Sausage. Shed Rager #69 asks, or phrases it in this way: Dell was booted, why FER? And the answer to that is because he kept on swearing. Simple as that. He would be warmly welcome back if he was to return to this show. So there are no hard feelings, but understandably, I think is the word to be used regarding Dell and his language. So it's one of them. I'm not going to try and change Dell, but by the same token, this is my platform, and there'll be no swearing on it. I can see Joven Trendmaker being very verbal about dishing out NASA's excuses for bubbles in space, along with questioning why anybody would lie about the shape of the Earth. Why don't you get on here, Joven? You feel free to spout this rhetoric outside of the chat and inside of the show. I've never heard you speak, mate, so it'd be lovely to have you on. It really would. Link is in the info box below this video for any and all who would like to join. All are welcome. Another keyboard warrior. We've got Curved Water. Thank you very much for being here. Again, feel free to join the chat, join the show, and express your views to an unopposed panel, as there is no one here. Once somebody joins, I will start broadcasting the chat. Oh, okay, curved water. It is a fair enough question, and as no one is here to express their views, I am literally the only person on the panel. So I will read out your question, and I'll even dignify you with an answer. So curved water says, at Nathan Oakley 1980, let's say NASA is lying. How does that make the Earth flat? And up until recently, Curved, I'd have said, you're right, it's a non sequitur conclusion. NASA lying doesn't prove the Earth is flat. However, yesterday on the show with Jibby Jedi, I rebroke that down slightly, and that is to say that if NASA are lying, then they have the, benchmark evidence for the Earth and its sphericity. They are literally showing us pictures of the globe. So if you take the fact that we have an obviously and observably flat plane at our eyesight, then what we have beyond that is lies from NASA. So no, it doesn't directly correlate and prove that the Earth is flat, but it takes you back to your original senses if you have a lie with the contrary prevailing viewpoint that the Earth is a sphere. That would be my explanation. Hope that's satisfactory for you, Curved. Not agreeable, but satisfactory. So I've been joined by, I think, a fake Mark Taylor. Good to see you. The Darkness, thank you for being here. I'm sure there was someone else. Multi Tom Tom, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Is that it? Yes, I think it is. Oh no, Flamingo Boot. And Ma Mama. We'll do another plug as we still have nobody on the panel. Probably quite early for people out in the States, and there is a conference on, so not surprising that we're a little slow on the uptake on this particular stream, but I'm sure we will have somebody join eventually. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the live chat, and if you would like to join the panel live, there is a link in the info box below this video. There are only two rules. One, do not swear. If you do swear, you'll be ejected. If you are ejected, it comes to rule 2, which is please do not return on this show. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next show. So, with that, I'll transition back to my photographs, and hopefully we'll have a debate rolling in the not too distant future. So Bling Bling of the ISS. Sorry, I'm going to get your name wrong at least once. Bling Bling, the BS of the ISS. Get that name right at least once. So she says, my stream keeps pausing. The stream runs out at a high resolution, 1080 resolution. So therefore, if you're getting any pausing, if you're on a PC or a Mac, just simply click the cog on the bottom right hand side of the actual picture, and that will give you a option to drop the quality of the feed down to 720 or 480 or whatever it is you want to lower it to till it looks perfect. But some computers are set up, or some people set their own computer up to try and get the resolution to be as high as possible. You can also do it in YouTube, but if you don't change anything, it should just drop the stream automatically if you're not capable of streaming at high quality. So yeah, just drop the resolution down of your feed and it should be perfect again. But as far as I can tell here, 300 drop frames, which is nothing. Fortunate and annoying, and I don't know why, but 300 drop frames is certainly not enough to make it sort of pause or be jerky or anything. But anyway, yeah, so just drop your resolution down to a slightly lower resolution, it'll stop it being jerky. Currently 40 people watching this. I would have assumed somebody would be keen to jump on and just state their views, even if they wanted to immediately dive out and leave it lingering without being challenged at all. So, as I say, if you did want to express your views, this is the time to do it completely unopposed. Flat World Takeover, good to see you. Good to see you, Nichio Snows. Thanks for being here in our chat. Good to see you, Hank Hill. Thanks for being here. He says, what the hell, Nathan Oakley? Yeah, debate show. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before now, but there's been 11 before this one. This one's a little bit slow off the ground, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, anybody is free to join. So I'm going to do my plug just for Hank Hill. If you would like to join the live chat, there is a link in the info box below this video. Simply click on that link and be sure to mute your watch page, the page you are currently watching, before you join the live chat, so you don't cause feedback. I'm going to say this for everyone else. This isn't for Hank Hill. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
Of course, Mike is on. I got to turn it off. My fingers over. Of course, Mike. There we go. Is on. I got to turn it off. My fingers over. Of course, Mike. There we go.
Can you mute your watch page, please? Bling bling. You're causing a load of feedback.
There we go. Can you mute your watch page, please? Bling bling.
You'll have to forgive me.
No, thanks
I
for
muted
that.
her.
No, it's probably for the best. We've been joined by Bling Bling, the BS of the ISS, and Hank Hill. Let's just transition across so you can see it. Hello, guys. Good to have you here.
Hello. So may we begin?
Yes, indeedy. Two flat
Okay, I
earthers
just
might
want
get
to say
some
thanks
actual
very
flat
much.
earth views. Wonderful.
What?
Just so BSS knows this, if you're on your phone, you just need to tap the screen to unmute, and then you'll be able to talk again. But yeah, for some reason, we could hear your watch page going round and round in circles.
Talk again, but yeah, for some reason we could hear your watch page going round and round in circles. Talk again, but yeah, for some reason we could hear your watch page.
Yep, still can. But we'll get there, I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me. Straighten that out. Come back. Say hello. I just wanted to say, so this is going to probably surprise a lot of people, but I'm going to say, yeah, I want to argue for the globe. I want to try that, see what happens.
Cool.
Is that okay?
Yeah, not with me though, because I'm purely here to moderate the chat. So I don't mind chatting with you, but I'm not really going to debate with you.
Globe.
Hopefully BSS will get a mic sorted though.
Surely you got a flat earther in here. Who wants to debate me? I'm on the globe side.
Cool. Turn of events.
Try something different. So, darn. Do unmute yourself when you work out your microphone. I wasn't trying to be rude to you. I did just wake up, so I'll probably sound a little raspy and, everything. Apologies.
Maybe I can ask in advance then. Is it playing devil's advocate? Are you now a globe believer? What's the score?
I don't really know, what we're on. Just certain things you can't know. We're too small. I'm an agnostic. But I lean towards the geocentric Earth theory. I just, don't know what it is.
So geocentric as opposed to heliocentric.
I just wanted to spark a debate for you guys because
you say geocentric, not heliocentric. So you don't think we're spinning, the stars spin around us, etc., etc.
Well, it's kind of what I think, but it's not something that I know, right?
Sure. No, perfectly reasonable. Good to get that disclaimer in early, I would say.
So yeah, I haven't really been a flat earther in a while. I just thought I would, come in and help your debate channel out for a minute because I don't actually have to be at work for another hour and 15 minutes.
Or maybe I can start you off. So, what makes you think you're on a globe? There we go.
I guess it would be the southern star trails that I've never seen that I've heard so much about. That's the one that, kind of kicked me off the flat earth. Couldn't
Okay,
figure it
so
out. I still can't. I don't know how it works.
I've
But
seen
that
the
doesn't
southern
mean,
star. So, in essence, having 2 points that the lights in the sky revolve around, which is modelled nicely on a globe. That's the clincher for you, which is fair enough.
right. And then the thing that um, keeps me off the globe is there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica that I've been able to see on, video evidence. So there's quite the conundrum. I don't know where I'm at, right? I don't know what I'm on. So there's problems with models, right? You can have a model Shelby, right? And you can have the real Shelby. Which one do you want? You want the real one or do you want the model? Like, of course, you want the real car
So it looks like we've been
because the
joined
model's.
by Jonathan Roberts. Thank you for being here, Jonathan.
Jonathan,
Hi,
are you
nice
flat earther?
people. Hi, Hank.
Hey, hey.
Am I flat earther? Certainly am,
Oh,
mate.
okay. I know who you are now. I'm sorry.
I
Forgive me.
don't know how people know how I am. I've never really been on anything.
Oh, you
You
haven't?
must have a good memory because
No.
I've only been on a couple of hangouts. So anyway, you are a flat earther, am I correct?
Say it again.
You are a flat earther, am I right?
No, I'm not.
No. Are you on the fence?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
Right, okay. At least, yeah. Well, okay, that's cool. Cool. Anybody else here, Flat Earth?
I am, but keep me out of
I'm a
it.
flat earther. I just want to see if you guys can hear me right now.
We
Perfect,
can hear
perfect.
you perfectly. And you got no echo on mine, Nathan? No?
Everything is hunky dory, sounding beautiful. Thanks for being here, Bling Bling.
And I promise not to mute you anymore.
Right,
You're
what are we going
welcome.
to talk
Nathan,
about?
this is really weird, but I'm wearing my cordless wireless headphones, and I'm hearing part of the conversation through my headphones, and then the other part of it through the speaker on my MacBook.
Well, mute the speaker on your MacBook. I think that's the advice. Sorry, Nathan should be. Is that the right one, Nathan?
No, yeah, you're right on track. Tends to be the case that once there's a couple of people in here, the group tends to self-moderate. Wasn't the case yesterday with Dell, admittedly, but most of the time, even with people who are at loggerheads, they tend to self-moderate and sort out technical issues on their own accord. So,
Yeah.
I'm not going to interrupt if you're doing the right thing.
So
Nathan, it's only you coming. It's weird. I can hear you through my speakers. I've muted the speaker on this brand new MacBook, and I'm still getting sound through the speakers. I don't get it.
Weird.
I'll hand over to you, Nathan, for that.
No idea.
I don't know, mate.
Without being there, sorry. That's where my expertise runs out.
I'm usually a tech guy, but I boycott Apple. So I don't know anything about Apple.
No, same as that. I'm on Android as well.
So there's almost been a question put out there, so I'll put it to either Jonathan or Bling Bling, which is that there is a contradiction in regards to at least the presentation of the models. One presents that we should have 24-hour sun, but we do have 2 celestial points in the sky. The counter of that on the flat Earth is that you don't have 24-hour sun in the south, which is conducive to the flat Earth model if you have one. But you do have 2 celestial points in the sky. So how do you guys square that circle in your minds?
That's where I'm
Oh,
at. That's what I'm saying.
hmm.
I don't think we've
Yeah.
got it figured out right yet. I think maybe the sun is traveling east to west and looping around somehow. I don't know. But I don't think it's traveling around a dinner plate like what we've originally thought.
What about I don't know if anybody's seen what journalism did regarding like getting a bowl, like a Pyrex dish, sort of.
Um,
Oh,
like a Pyrex dish.
whoa!
Um,
What's happening
Forgive me and
here?
continue.
Oh no! Oh, sorry. Yeah. Journalism got a bowl, and he was shining a light through it, using basically sort of as a dome, but more to show us that although he used a light on the other, so he had the camera looking through the bowl, so and then on the other side he had a light. Now you would have thought, if you hadn't have been told, that the light was on the right hand side of the screen, um, and then as soon as he pulls the bowl away, it's on the left hand side of the screen. So he's talking about the possible dome, or possible atmospheric lensing, um, making a difference. But I can only see that working in um, you couldn't use sort of flat glass in order to do that. You would, it would have to, that makes it have to be a dome in order to do what he was saying. I just wondered if anybody had seen that. It was quite interesting.
I did not.
No. Um, yeah, that is a big stickler. I mean, I don't know. Is the answer to that one. Um, Nathan's not going to jump in and throw 2 pence in.
I don't see there's
Jonathan,
anything
I
to
have to
defend. I mean,
Sorry.
Hank summed it up already. He doesn't know, I don't know, none of us know.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. At least, yeah, that's all. That's nice and honest, isn't it? At least we're all being, you know. All right then. So moving on from that, what what do we want to talk about next, guys? Because we've got plenty to talk about.
Breaking promises not to mute people. I should be held
But
accountable.
well, I didn't know that I mute someone, or do you do you mean Nathan? Because I
It's
certainly
it's proper etiquette not to mute people, but if they're being
that
disruptive, sometimes it's okay.
that's
It's
right. Yeah. So Flat Earth International Conference um, started yesterday, did it? And it's running today also. Uh, no, that's wrong. Sorry, it's the 9th and the 10th. So yeah, it's today and tomorrow. Sorry. Um, how does anybody know of any channels that have put anything up regarding that? Because I went to Patricia's Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, and she's got the David Weiss and everybody, they're standing up at the big billboard, the new billboard that's been put up. And yeah, it is big. But I know that would I be right in saying, Nathan will be able to help me here, that if we want to see any of it, we've got to really pay for some sort of stream or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, it's
Do you know?
being cast. It's a webinar basically. So yeah, you just pay and you get the stream from the inside. So what they would see on their TVs as they're doing the show is what you'd get
Yeah.
broadcast.
Right. So, and I take it that will have copyright things on it. So, I other people won't be able to. Will other people? Oh, I've got to go, people. Sorry, I've got a call. I'll probably come back in a minute.
No worries. Good opportunity for me to say hello to Curved Water. So good to see you, Curved Water. Thanks
That's
for being
all
here.
right.
Thank you. Great to be here.
You know, I thought he was someone else. Sorry, John. So, curved water. What are you standing on?
That broke up a little bit for me, so if you were talking to me, I didn't catch it.
Yeah, what are you standing on?
3/4 inch plywood subfloor.
Bigger picture, big picture.
Bigger picture.
Yeah, like what shape is the Earth? Is it an oblate spheroid? You stand on a lumpy potato?
Oblate
What you got?
sounds good, sure.
Yeah,
Slightly.
yeah.
Slightly.
Slightly fatter in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, what's the issue with that?
I
Do
was
we
just
want to
asking
be
what.
confrontational or do we want to just have a discussion?
No, I'm not
Sorry.
trying to be confrontational. I'm just trying to get some information out of you.
Uh-huh. Well, I freely give information, Hank. You don't have to try to get it out of me. What is it you'd like to know?
Okay, so you're on the ball side, and I just want to know, like, how come we don't have any 24-hour sun videos from Antarctica, where the sun's in the frame for like at least 72 hours?
What about them?
Well, how come we don't have that? Like, it's something that we should have if we got, scientists in Antarctica and we know that they got,
We
cameras
should
there.
have hoverboards, Hank. Oh, so what's your point? I don't know what we do and don't have regarding 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I'm not an authority on that and don't claim to be.
Well, I didn't
Um,
expect you were.
right. Well, then what is it you want from me on that issue? Why you're asking me, but if you know,
I've been waiting for it because something like that would, debunk the flat Earth, I think, like pretty thoroughly.
well, are they not out there? It seems to me I've seen at least one that was from uh, somewhere in Antarctica. As far as how long you're going to see 24-hour sun depends on where you are and when.
Right. I've seen the one from the northern hemisphere, and it looked like it lasted for a while. It was at least 5 days, 6 days maybe. And I've seen the watch spin around in the southern hemisphere, but it's not quite the same. Like when you put them side by side.
I'm not sure I know what you mean, the watch.
Well, then you just have to search for the type of videos that I'm talking about.
I'm back.
Right.
Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties. I'm back using my
Forgive,
phone.
forgive me, please.
All right, so is that what everything's going to hinge on for you? Is this 24-hour sun and Antarctica video? Is that the only thing that you have to determine the shape of the Earth?
No, but it would be a home run hitter for you guys. Like, I mean, does
Well,
anybody disagree with that? It'd be a home run for the ball Earth.
I'll disagree from this perspective. No matter what anybody puts out there, it's going to be called fake by the flat earthers. So what's the point? Now, you personally, you may treat it differently than the majority of the flat earthers do, but they tend to just call everything fake if it contradicts their belief. Do you disagree with that?
No, but doesn't everyone do that?
No, I don't disagree with things because they contradict a belief I may hold. I tend to adjust my beliefs according to the evidence.
I mean, I think we would all like to think that we do that, but you know, if I start telling you about how
Are you implying
Jehovah
that I
created
do
the,
not?
sorry, what?
Are you implying that I do not?
I'm not implying anything. All I'm saying is, if I started telling you about how Jehovah created the heavens and the earth, you might buck against me a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would a little bit, certainly.
Right. Okay. So we all have that, core belief system that we protect, and
Well,
we all have cognitive dissonance at
no,
times.
no. I don't. What do I have cognitive dissonance about? What are the two mutually exclusive beliefs that I hold?
Well, I guess that would be my thing then. I guess I'm the one with the cognitive dissonance.
Well,
So
that's fine.
flat earthers have cognitive dissonance now. Isn't that funny? It's like it's been flipped onto us now when we all thought we lived on a spinning ball in outer space.
That's not my words. That's not what I'm
Well,
saying.
that's what we were told. We lived on a spinning ball in outer space. Have you heard of Occam's razor? Do you know how ridiculous it sounds that we live on a spinning ball in outer space? I mean, just that
Who
alone, when you really think about it, like really think about it, how is any of that possible? Have you heard of Occam's razor? Like
is he? Some
some,
comic book superhero? Who is Achman?
No,
well,
it's Occam's razor, I think is what the lady
it's a,
meant.
it's a philosophy. Basically, the more
I know what you meant.
simplistic answer is usually the correct one. And this definitely applies. It's too complicated. All the movement and the fact that we can't test for it or prove that there's any movement, the fact that there's no measurable curvature, and all you want to do is debate how the sun works when
Oh,
we
no.
can't figure that out because we can't even get to Antarctica. So it's just such a silly thing to argue about. Why can't we just argue about the things that we can prove? That there is no curvature and there is no rotation.
Okay, prove no curvature.
We
You
have.
realize the
We've
logical
proven
fallacy
there.
there.
We have proven it. That's how most people start out. They start out to prove there is curvature, to disprove flat earth, and then they turn around and they become a flat earth realist because they can't measure any curvature. It
That's
should be so
exactly how I
simple.
became one.
Maybe they don't know how to measure it.
Okay, you tell
Maybe,
No,
tell us
maybe
tell us how
it's
to
a
do it. We'll go and do
difficult
it right
thing.
now. I live right by the
Maybe
ocean. Just tell me how to
maybe
do it.
it's a
I'll
very
do it.
difficult thing to do.
no, it's
How is it
not.
different?
Yeah, it's very
If there was
difficult because
curvature
it's.
there,
Forgive me for
if
speaking.
we're told a man of 5'7" stood at sea level with the water lapping up against his feet, can the horizon is 2.92 miles away, so we've got what would be called visible curvature, where we're told that boats are going over the horizon. Well, if because a ball curves in every direction, well, if that was the case, then why, when I go and stand on the very easterly point of the UK and I look across to Holland, unfortunately I can't see it yet, it's not really clear enough day, I'm joking. But yeah, so we're told that we can see measurable curvature out in front of us. Well, what about when I can look from left to right and I know that I've got a 60, 70-mile view? Why can I not see any curvature that way?
May I answer that? Okay, I play bass guitar. And whenever I get a new guitar or someone hands me a guitar, one of the first things I do is I line it up to my eyeball like a rifle neckboard, and I'm looking at the curvature of the fretboard to see if it's, just right to get the right amount of action in the strings. That way it plays good, right? But if I hold the
Okay.
guitar out in front of me long ways and I put
Mm.
the neck of my hands, I can't detect any curvature that way. It's not a very good way to detect curvature. So, you know,
Yeah,
the
but in fairness, we're not talking about guitar here. We're talking about
Apples and
water.
oranges.
right, Right, you're talking about a ball
Yeah,
that's
no,
25,000 miles in circumference, allegedly, right?
yeah. Well, with an 8 inches per mile squared drop, and we all agreed that that's what the globe says.
Yeah, but the Earth
That
is just too big that you can't detect the curvature. That's their argument. Like you
Well,
can't.
well, no, hold on. No, that's wrong because we're being told that the reason that we see the mast going down is due to curvature. Well, it's not. It's due to perspective. So
How
from
so?
left,
We've been
how
joined by
so? Well,
Epistemology for
right,
Truths. Sorry
right,
to
okay.
interrupt you,
Well,
Jonathan.
wait a minute. So if
Jonathan, just
You're
one
welcome,
second.
Nathan.
Sorry. Just want to make one introduction. We've been joined by, I hope I'm saying this right, is it Epistemology for Truth? Is that correct?
Yep. Hey, Nathan.
Thank you for being here. Sorry to interrupt you. Carry on, guys.
that's all right. Yeah. So right. Well, we all know that water less level, if tipped at any level, will begin to flow. So if that 2.92 miles away, let's say I get somebody to stay at the shore whilst I go out in a little boat and I go to that 2.92 miles. Well, in that case, if it's starting to curve, there should be flowing water, and it's not. It's flat there, and it's flat
Whoa.
again. Flat
No,
again.
because the water is an equal potential, so it's not going to flow because level is not the same as flat, and the water is always level because it's always at equal potential. But that does not mean flat.
So why is it that I can use my P900 that I bought specifically to be able to do this test? Because when I became interested in flat Earth, I saw a lot of videos about boats going over the horizon, over the curvature. So I wanted to do my own test. So I got myself a P900. I live in Florida. I went down to Juno Beach in Jupiter, and I was able to zoom in on a boat that had left and zoomed right back in on it with the water in the hull. Perfect clarity. There was
And I
nothing missing.
If it's a
and I bet
small boat, if it's a small boat, it could leave, your angular resolution before it actually leaves the horizon, especially depending on your elevation. But other person in Florida, like Red's Rhetoric, he's taken pictures of very large boats, tankers, and large ships, and Coast Guard ships, and those do seem to be getting more and more cut off from the bottom up. And
That's just
also, if you
distortion.
ever,
That's just distortion.
yeah.
Your
Whoa.
camera can't go to
what
infinity.
about the moon? Why does the moon get cut off? Can you bring the
I have
moon
no
back with
idea.
your P900 when the moon is halfway set? Can you zoom in on it and bring it all back so it's round again?
We're not talking about the moon. We don't live up there.
Exactly.
About
I
Earth.
kind of believe in the way Dell thinks. People always want to go to the stars and the moon and the sun, but we live here on this earth and we're
Do it with
trying
the
to
boat.
figure out where we are.
Do
And
it with
we
the
can't
boat.
get out there into outer space. So it's kind of stupid to ask me about the moon when all I can do is zoom in on it
Can you,
with the
can you show me a
P900 and see
boat
what I can
where?
see.
Can you show me a boat where you're kind of zoomed out 80% on your P900 and you can see that it's cut off in the middle, and then as you're zooming in, more and more of the hole becomes visible? Do you have a video like
Yes.
that?
Yeah. There's loads of
don't.
videos. There's loads of
But
Can
videos
you
on
link one
YouTube
for us,
showing
Jonathan, that
that.
we can look at, or can you share one in the chat?
Do you know what? I'm on my phone and I don't know how to do that.
I don't think
I
you
don't
can
know how to
also.
put it. No, I don't think you can whilst you're on the hanger. But yeah, I mean, there's loads of them. I mean,
There is.
where you can see,
Well,
you can look out and you see through your eyes, and you will see part of the hull is missing, but that's due to perspective. Then
How
I've
when
got
so?
you
12
then
What?
meters
when you
looking
zoom
for a couple
in,
minutes
then when
now,
you
and this is
zoom
good.
in, the hull comes back in.
Perfectly.
That
Perfectly.
yes, perfectly.
So Bling
And that
Bling has video of
And
this?
that's on cruise ships. I've seen it on cruise ships. So
Okay.
don't tell me it's just on
Can
little boats.
can
I've seen
we
it on cruise ships.
can we see
yeah,
this?
yes, you
I
can.
don't
Why
have
don't you? Right,
I don't
you
have the
have you
footage, but I'll get it. If that's what you need, then I'll get it. I don't
What?
have it. I haven't saved it. I wish I had.
Okay.
On my channel, I focus on exposing the lies of NASA. So I don't focus on all of what we're talking about because there are so many people that are so much better at it than I am.
Yeah.
So I leave it up to them. But what I do, and I think that I have a really keen eye for detail. I can watch a NASA video and I can see how they're faking something. And
Okay,
if you watch
please.
any of my videos, I prove it. So why don't you tell me, why is NASA lying and faking what they're doing up there if they're really up there? Why would they need to fake using augmented virtual reality beach balls?
Well, I don't want to go on the NASA tangent. We were talking about measuring the curvature of the Earth,
I know.
and we were talking
Okay.
about videos that show the holes of ships obstructed, and then the camera zooms in, and then the hole becomes unobstructed. Now, I've been in the flat Earth community about 2 years. I think curved may be even longer than that, and I don't think either of us have ever seen an actual video of the claim that you can zoom something in and suddenly see more of it than you could.
Whoa. Well, you obviously haven't been doing enough research, mate, because that's one of the first things. It's literally the first thing. That's how I became a
Right,
flat
but
earther.
ironically, no one in the Hangout can provide a video right now. They
Right.
can.
Well, why don't you
Just
you
get it for yourself.
why
Why
don't
do we have to
why don't
provide
you
it?
type it? Why don't you type into YouTube now? Boats being brought back into vision with a P900.
And any video we pull up, you'll say, well, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not a proper example.
It depends what video it is. No, we're not just going off what other people are saying.
No, you will deny anything that we pull up. You need to
Rob
provide
Skiba
what
has some
you
excellent-
believe is proof of your claim.
Yeah,
Rob
there you go,
Skiba did
Rob
some
Skiba.
excellent
Yeah.
research on this topic in great detail. My goodness, he spent days in a location outside of where he lived just to do this.
Who did?
And it was excellent. Rob Skiba.
Skiba.
Outside of where he lived?
He had to travel, like, I don't know, like, because he doesn't live by the ocean, or
yeah, he went to Lake Michigan.
Yeah,
he went to
he showed curvature. Very
Lake
nice.
Pontchartrain as well, I think he proved. So
he didn't find curvature. Did you just say he found curvature?
No, he proved it was flat. He proved the bridge was flat and straight.
Rob Skiba proved that you could not look across Lake Michigan from where he was and see the entirety of the city, that you could only see the tops of a few of the tallest buildings because they were obstructed by the curvature of the lake.
No,
lens refraction, I think he said.
And lens refraction,
yeah.
What other terms are we going to make up here?
Oh, we have to, because we are discovering flat Earth, and we don't have a book that's
so you have
official.
to make up terms?
Whoa,
someone made up the
minute.
globe terms. Where did the globe terms
she
come
had
from?
to make it up. Talk to me about this lens refraction.
What? Hold on a minute. You just said that you've been in doing this for the last 2.5 years. Well, I'm sorry, my friend, but you haven't obviously done enough research, because if you're asking us,
Jonathan,
for example, hold on, wait a minute, let me finish. If you're asking us for examples of lens refraction, or the fact that when we look out to the sea, we are seeing more water. Air, atmosphere is water, and it acts like a lens.
No, not the way that you guys use it. See, here's the thing. See, I understand the terms, and I know what these things mean. I also know that flat earthers don't use these terms according to their meaning. That's why I ask you a question like, what are you talking about with this? What do you mean, lens refraction?
What do I mean with lens refraction?
Yeah, she replied with lens refraction, and you agreed. You chimed in and agreed using the same term. I want to know what in the world you mean by lens refraction when we're talking about the obstruction due to the curvature of the lake, the hard water horizon line blocking almost all of Chicago and just seeing a little bit of the tallest buildings.
Well, it's not a little bit of the tallest buildings we see.
It was a little bit of the tallest buildings from across the lake.
So you mean where with the Willis Tower? Is that what you're on about?
The Willis Tower and a few others that weren't
Mm.
high enough that you could see them above the horizon.
What
Right,
what
well,
about
e-
what
even
about
with
Chicago? What about that one photograph that photographer took of the
Yeah.
Chicago skyline?
What
That
you're
was perfect.
seeing here is a mirage.
Exactly, a superior
Joshua
mirage.
Newicki.
Correct.
That is not a superior mirage, as we all know. A superior mirage, it would have been
Upside down.
inverted. It would have been upside down. That was the news trying once again to, you know, boost up the globe idea.
Indoctrination.
Okay, so why? Well, okay, let's forget about Chicago and that. Why can we see? Why can we see things that even with refraction calculated in? Why are we able to see things that should be way over the curvature?
All right, you just made a statement there, even with refraction calculated in. How are you calculating the refraction in? And what example are you referring to?
Well, you can go online and you can use.
Sure, I can do your research for you to make your point, to understand what you're
What?
saying. I can look it up for you.
No, you didn't let
and
me
try to
finish the
figure out what you
sentence. You
mean.
didn't let me finish the sentence.
It
I
wasn't
said you can go online and use the refraction calculator for how much refraction there should be.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You know why? Because
Why?
you need to know the conditions with which to
Yeah,
calculate it.
yeah.
A calculator online giving you a figure for what is called standard refraction is not necessarily indicative of the conditions that you are viewing in. So stop with that.
Okay, all right then. Okay, so why can we see these things that we shouldn't be able to see then? That should be way over the curve. Why can we see them? You tell
Well,
me your
that famous Chicago skyline, number one, that wasn't shot at sea level, that was up on a sand dune, and number two, the buildings are all structured.
I'm not referring to that. Don't use that one. I'm saying.
Why not that one? He's giving you an example, Jonathan.
How about the photographer? There's a photographer that got even a further shot than that, and I wish I could remember the photographer.
Show us what you're talking about, and let's analyze it.
Yeah,
world
pick
famous
something and talk about it.
Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Sorry, say that again, Bling Bling.
There's a world famous photographer that took the longest lens shot ever.
Over 492 kilometers.
Yeah,
it was shot.
That guy.
And he was up elevated very high, but even with that taken into account, there is absolutely no way. And that's what I mean by the calculator. When you put in the elevation, you put in all that, and how can you see something 492 kilometers away? It doesn't, unless he's, stupidly up high, which he was not. I don't know the precise elevation. You'd have to look in. I can't bring it up, as you know, but you'll just have to look in world's furthest camera shot, I suppose. I think that's what it. I don't know. Somebody may have a better definition of.
Nathan, if you can find that video and link it, post it, that would be so great. I'm sure you've seen this video that we're talking about.
If you want to present it, I know you're on a phone, but
I'm going to try to, I don't know, I lost connection on my laptop, but so I went back to my phone. I think I'm just using data. I'm not even sure. I'm not even going to look, but.
I mean, the panel, I think, will all concede that photo exists if they are honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sorry, what was that?
Are we talking about the world's longest sight photo?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, Slice Barcane did a video on that, and he shows the heights of the other.
Yeah, not interested in Slice Barcane.
Why not?
Because you're not interested
because
in
he's not here. He's not here, and he's
Does that make his information invalid because he's not here?
Who
No,
is this
all right,
gentleman?
no,
He
go on.
proves the globe or something? I don't even know this
It doesn't
person.
matter who he is. It matters
He's a
what
pain
he
in the
says.
ass.
Well, what
That's
does he
what he
do?
is.
What does he do then? He proves the globe? Is that what he does? I guess I should watch more people like that because maybe I don't give them a fair
Why don't you
shake
let
at it.
epistemology finish his statement and you can find out
Yeah,
what he was
Go
telling
on,
you
finish
Flies
your
Farkane did.
statement. Finish your statement then. Go on.
Well, he shows you the horizon and all the mountain tops that are far, very high mountains in the distance, and overlays which mountains those are. Also, the mountain that the photographer is standing on. And the first thing that you notice is that these very distant mountains that are very tall are barely above the horizon, and the horizon is below eye level because it's shot from so far, from so high up. And if these mountains are, equally as tall or taller than where the people are standing, they should be looking up or looking across, but they're not. You can clearly see that the mountains are barely peeking up over the horizon. That is not proof.
Either way, it's 492 kilometers. So if you were on a ball, you wouldn't be able to see that far.
Okay, let's plug that into the Earth. Let's plug that into the Earth curve calculator.
Yeah, put it into the Earth curve calculator then.
Thanks for your permission. He said he was going to do that.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah, just checking the mic.
Yeah, we've been joined by Spurs
right,
Schemo.
yeah.
Pleased to have you here, Spurs. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Fantastic. I mean, a simple way to look at it, curved epistemology, is how I see it is curvature on that ball. Which way do you have to look? You would have to look down.
Oh my God.
So on any ball with curvature, you shouldn't see more land. You should start to look down and see curvature. This is what we're saying here now. We're saying, how do you explain the more land? It's impossible on a ball. With that make any sense to you? Or are you struggling with the idea of why you see more land?
That's perfect. That's perfect, Spurs. Nice one for coming in with that.
Well, I think it's pretty simple. I think a lot of these ballers are either playing silly buggers or they just really don't understand the idea of you're not supposed to see more land the higher you go. I think this really stumps them.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Louis just joined us. So, Louis, what do you think then?
About what?
492 kilometers, the world's furthest ever photograph.
What were they taking a picture of?
Yes. He was taking the pictures of mountains off in the distance, and the mountains.
All right. Where was the observer?
Yes, his height was. He was up high. I don't know. I haven't got the video, but I can't pull it up on my phone. I can't do this, and I can't be on a hangout and pull it up. You can, and you could do it.
Last variable. Was there water between them and the object being observed?
I should imagine so at some point.
Okay, all of those things matter. The observer height matters, the object's height that's being observed matters, and if there's water in between the observer and the thing being observed, that also matters. And if you're in an airplane, you can see much further than 400 kilometers, so it hardly warrants explanation.
Not.
Yeah, the horizon shouldn't be at eye level there, should it? When the higher we go,
yes, if you're looking at something, it's going to be eye level.
Why?
How do you explain?
Because you're looking at it.
Yeah, but you'd have to adjust your head to look at that object.
Or your eyes. You don't have to adjust very much there. It's pretty big.
Probably ought to clarify what is meant by eye level.
Yeah, if you mean, is the ground curving upwards to roughly 6 feet high all the time to each individual's point of view? Yeah, that's because you're looking at it. If you don't look at it, it's not going to rise to your eye level. Give it a try.
What we say is we don't see that in reality.
No,
the
you
higher
do.
we go,
No, you don't. If you're standing at sea level and you look straight out, you have to look. You are looking up. If it is at eye level, you are looking up, and the sky meets the ocean off in the distance. If we were living on a ball,
You don't have to look up.
If we no, I've just said that you don't have to look up because you're stood up. You're already by however tall you are. It is at your eye level, and if the Earth was a ball, it wouldn't be at your eye level. You
Why
would
not?
have to look down.
Why?
Because of principle, Lewis. The same.
How big are you? How many feet tall are you?
About
Let's say
4.5.
6 foot.
All right. How many feet long is a mile?
I don't know, but if you're getting at
5,280. How many miles can
yeah.
you see standing straight up?
How many miles can we see straight up?
Can you see standing on erect? When you're standing erect, how many miles to the horizon is it? Around.
2.92 miles. If
All
you're
right,
about
so take 2.92 times 5,280, and that's how many feet you're looking. All right. If you're and then divide that by your height. All right. That is how much more
5'7".
distance than your entire height you are looking. Why do you think you should have to look down?
Well, I wanted to, sorry to interrupt you here, Lewis. I did the Earth curve calculator. I had to look up that particular observation to get the exact numbers on it, which we're talking about the peak, I'm going to mispronounce this, it's a French name, the peak Veneralis or whatever observation. But anyway, plug that into the Metabunks calculator, which just uses standard refraction.
Well, it's Metabunk.
Well, you could use any formula that takes into account the stated size of the Earth, and you could do the calculation.
All right, well, we'll go with Metabunk.
How the math works on this. You told me I could plug this into a calculator.
Yeah, no, cool. I'm just saying. Go on. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Metabunk.
Right. The distance viewed is 443 kilometers. Okay. The viewer's height is 2,810 meters. With standard refraction and like Curved Water said, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's that much refraction. There could be more, there could be less, but we'll just go with standard refraction. That says that approximately 3,828 meters of a mountain will be hidden, which means any mountain over 3,828 meters should be visible above the horizon. Now, it would barely be above the horizon, be above the horizon, which is exactly what we see in the pictures. So, I mean, I don't understand what the problem is here.
Now cry Metabunk. And if you want to cry Metabunk, do the math yourself. Can you?
Can I do the math myself?
If you're going to cry Metabunk, can you do the math yourself?
Well, hold on. I just said, all I said was, hey, it's Metabunk. That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not.
Yeah, and that's
thing to say.
Yeah,
statement.
I don't like the chap that does it. It's a personal thing. Shouldn't have brought it up. Earth curve calculator. Right. They're all the same. They're all the same.
Okay.
Then. So, unless we're being tricked. Okay.
And what do you have to say?
Right.
Yeah. Math is math. You can't go and yeah. I understand. I shouldn't have brought that up.
Okay. Well, how about this, Jonathan? Can you support your statement now that it should not have been seen? Or do you want to divert another topic?
I think it should have been seen.
All right, so we're not going to use that as evidence anymore. Fair enough. Very good. Spurs Chemo, stick a ball in your face. Okay, I know that's a bit of a stretch for you, but stick a ball in your face. Okay, I want it right up against your eyes. Take notice of how much of the ball you can see. Now, simulate raising your elevation. In other words, move the ball out in front of you, away from your eyes. So you're increasing the distance between your eyes and the ball. Do you see more of the ball or not?
Yeah, I'll see more of the ball.
I'll rest my case. So stop with that. Okay, stop.
Stop with what? Only to a certain point, though, Kurt.
Yeah, that's,
Stop with your silly little looking down on the ball all the time and what you shouldn't see more land and all that nonsense.
Yeah, but I'm not, I don't lie on the floor and then elevate myself. I'm standing up straight.
Yeah, but for schemo, you understand?
What are you talking about?
We already went over this. How many miles around? How many miles around? For schemo, how many miles?
Hey, hold on a
around is the
second.
Earth?
Hold on. You said, there you go. Let me respond to you.
How many miles around?
Take the basketball.
Like you're so much closer to the Earth than you could ever get to holding
One
the ball
at a
to your
time,
face.
please, gentlemen. One at a time.
yeah, one at
Let
a
me
time,
respond
chat.
to Curvature in a second. He's saying you shove the ball in your face, as you take the ball away, you see more ball until a certain point. But we're not lying down looking at the earth. We're standing up. So if you stand on a basketball in space and you were to shrink smaller and smaller and smaller, you would see space, space, space until you got so small. And then you would see the ball. You reverse that, you get bigger and bigger and bigger. You would see, obviously, earth until you get yay high.
Okay, you didn't think about that properly. Imagine that the basketball in space that you're standing on is the size of the Earth, not the size of a basketball.
Well, let's go with the basketball. What do you see when you stand on the basketball?
Mostly my feet, but you know the Earth's a lot bigger than a
Hold on
basketball,
a
and I'm pretty
second.
sure that you know
Okay,
that. So you're just dodging the question. You're just dodging the question.
Hold on, we have a problem
Hold on,
here.
you said you're standing on a basketball. You're looking in space and you see the basketball. How does that happen?
I know that flat earthers can't scale, but my God, man, standing on a basketball.
So you're standing on a basketball in space.
Real.
That you see the basketball.
Stop with the standing on a freaking basketball, you utter
Follow the
moron.
logic, because everyone.
Well, hold on a minute.
No, it's not logic. It's not in any way logical.
Louis, you said the other day, I mean, this chap's now saying, you know, do away with the basketball, but you used the analogy the other day about how we're so small and, you know, like a flea on a basketball.
That scales better.
No, stand on a basketball in space, and what do you see? You see space.
Guys,
So
real quick,
if you shrink smaller and smaller, you'll see space, space, space until you see land. That's normal. The same thing like you just said with the Earth. So as you get higher and higher and higher, you shouldn't see more land. You should see space.
Well, that happens, but in order to get that far away from the Earth, no. In order to get that far away from the Earth, to make it appear the size of a basketball, we would have to get farther away than like the moon.
Can you demonstrate that? You're just guessing, yes? It's just a guess, a wild guess.
That's the literal fact
is
of it.
I want to talk about what
Imagine,
the angular sizes of a basketball and the distance. You can do the calculation.
For schemo, imagine that you're like the size of a germ and you're on the basketball, right? How far away, how many more times the size of the germ does that germ have to get away from the basketball to be able to recognize it's a ball, assuming a germ has all of our senses and critical faculties?
They would still be looking forward, and to see the curvature, they would have to look down.
Yes, that's right. Eventually, but is 37,000 feet in an airplane?
Yes.
How far away are satellites orbiting?
As you telescope over the horizon.
22,000 kilometers.
Horizon, Lewis.
Yeah, okay.
That's your point of curvature. You're going down, 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 as you say. Ship disappearing. Yeah, there's your horizon. So from that point onwards, we should be looking down and not seeing more Earth.
Okay. You at no point in your existence get far enough away from the Earth to see that effect.
So why do we see ships disappear standing on the ground?
Because there's curvature.
So we're seeing the ship go down, 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 as you just said. So as I go up, as that ship goes down and I go up, I should be looking down. You should be able to see it.
If a ship goes over the curve, if a ship goes over the curve and you elevate your position, you should be able to see the ship again.
Yeah, I should be able to see it, but I should be looking down at the ship, not straight.
By a really indiscernible amount.
Well, with a telescope,
you have the math on that first chemo. Do you have any?
If I was
how much
telescope,
down you should be looking?
The angle. Do you agree with that, or do telescopes change the angle where you're from?
Can you calculate the angle for us first so you realize how minute it is?
Is a straight point of line, or do they change angle like our eyes and our head?
They show a straight line, yeah. But if you move the telescope upward, you're changing the viewing angle.
Going over the horizon, you should not be able to see that ship again as you go up.
Yeah,
should have to tilt
absolutely
the
you should. Yes,
down.
absolutely you should.
Not on
Absolutely.
a ball.
And the same with the sunset, by the way. You can watch the sunset twice. You can go to the city, watch it on the
Well, that's
ground,
something you have
go
to
up an
demonstrate.
elevator, and see it again. It's literally the same thing with a ship.
Yeah, but you have to look down. This is what you're forgetting.
How much down? How far
Yeah,
down?
by
What's
like
the angular
less than a
change?
degree. Less than a degree.
By however much the ship goes down.
Less,
However much the ship
less
is
than a
the
tenth
same
of a
as
degree.
you should. If something is going down, you would follow suit with your head, like down, 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 down.
I think you're talking
Very
about
simple.
hundredths of a degree change.
Louis,
That's what
you
we're
said
talking
With a
about.
telescope, then. How comes with a telescope we can still see it?
you said
You
you
can.
said
If you keep watching long enough with a telescope, it will go over the curve. And then when that happens, if you go up, it will come back into your field of view until
We've
it
never,
travels
ever,
far
ever
enough
proven
away
that,
from you
Lewis. That's the
again
problem,
and goes
Lewis.
over the
We've
new
never proven that.
horizon.
But that's the problem, Lewis. We've never proven that. It's been said.
Yes, we have.
Yes,
We've
no,
done it
yeah.
many times. You don't
Wolf is
understand it.
16
All
End
right.
of
got a video
story.
where he does that
Okay.
from his hotel room.
okay. Can I just put this in, right, Lewis? You just mentioned the sun a moment ago, right? If the sun, if let's just
Do you remember
imagine
why
that.
I mentioned the sun?
Wait a minute. Let's
Yeah,
just
let him make his
imagine,
point.
yeah, that we could build a glass skyscraper, right?
We can do that. Yes.
Right, yeah, okay. Nobody has ever seen, right, when the sun comes up, right? Surely the rays should be coming up and bouncing off the ceiling and coming down, but that's not what we see. We
That
see it
does
the
happen,
other way
actually.
around.
That does
No,
happen
There
in
are
it
cities.
videos of that.
doesn't.
Have you
We
ever
see it the
observed a
other way
sunrise from
round.
the top of a skyscraper? Have you ever observed a sunrise from the top of a skyscraper? That absolutely happens. It hits the top of the building first and then goes down. That absolutely
That's what I'm
happens.
saying. It hits the top of the building. It shouldn't. If the sun is coming
No, it
up,
should. That's exactly
it
what we
should hit the
expect. That's
it should
exactly
hit
what
the
we would expect on a ball because the buildings are sticking up over the curve and the light has to come around as the earth moves.
There is
Hey,
a slight angle involved
real
there,
quick,
Jonathan.
guys.
You're killing yourself, Jonathan.
I want to just hammer this home point on this longest line of sight here so that the flat earthers never bring it up again. I clicked the link of the actual observation of that picture. I mean, I posted the link there in the group chat if you guys can see it. And one of the things I'd like the flat earthers to explain to me is why are mountains that are much shorter than because the furthest line of sight was Peak Gaspard, which was 443 kilometers, but that peak is 3.8 meters, 3.8 kilometers tall. It's a huge, tall mountain. Why is it that mountains that are significantly shorter but are closer are higher up than that furthest mountain that was photographed? Why is it that the mountains that are nowhere near as tall in the picture are much higher up than that very tall mountain?
Because they're closer to you?
Yes, and the curvature is less the closer it is to you.
Right, but if you do
So
this
that's why.
observation, if you
Exactly.
do this observation on like a bowling alley with like, and there's a flat earther that actually did this using this longest lines of sight. I think Curb, you showed me that video, and maybe you could recall who was it that did it. But he
John
basically did it.
McIntyre.
Do you remember it, Curb?
Maybe John McIntyre.
Yeah, well, he had this set up. He had this set up like on his patio where he was photographing taller things that were closer and further away on a flat plane, which was like his patio. And he wanted to see how the perspective would work. And there was never a situation where something that was further away and taller looked shorter than something that was closer and shorter. That never looked that way on a flat plane photographed, right? The only time you get that is when there's something going over a curvature. You can do this practical experiment in, on a flat, on a fairly flat surface.
Yep, and then you can do the same experiment by simply flexing a 2x4 or something of the same length of the original flat surface and do it again and put your observer, along the 2x4 and you'll immediately recognize why the tallest object is the shortest.
Well, you made us flat earthers a little quiet on that one. We don't have all the answers, but we still don't believe that we're on a spinning ball in outer space. Sorry.
Well, maybe you don't have very good basis for what you believe and don't believe. Consider that.
I mean, it's the tall claims that flat earthers tend to make that warrant this response. Like, and just like Bling Bling said, we don't have all the answers. We're not science. Per Schemo, I can't count the number of times I've heard him say, I'm not a scientist. Why are you asking me? I shouldn't know that. I'm not a scientist. It's like, why are you developing an opinion on things you don't understand then?
Well, we're allowed to have opinions on things that we don't understand. I mean, that's
sure, but
there's no
I mean, you
rule
shouldn't
book here.
expect.
What's the
You
value
shouldn't expect
of
people to take you seriously as soon as you say, "Oh, I don't really understand that."
But you know, we've got highly educated people involved in the flat Earth.
Show me one.
Well, they're all over YouTube. They have channels.
Like who?
I've seen a geologist. I've seen a
Jeranism is an utter moron and a retard.
No, I'm not talking about Jeranism. I've seen a scientist, a Pakistani or an Indian. No, it was an Indian. He was an Indian scientist. I'll have to fiddle around on and find it again. He was like brilliant. I mean, he was showing an example using a drone and how nothing would travel in outer space.
He was using a drone to do that?
Yes, he was holding a piece of cardboard underneath it. It was really cool what he did.
He sounds like a real genius.
I've seen that.
That's nonsense.
You seen that? That guy was really
seen
great.
It.
He's very intelligent.
That's not great. No,
it's not great.
He's a moron. He's a liar.
Physicist.
Well, he's a liar.
Do you know why holding a piece of cardboard under the drone causes it to lose it loses its ability to fly? You understand that, right?
Well, why don't you explain it? I don't really. I can't tell you offhand.
I
watched that video a long time ago.
It's because the airflow that is being caused by the propellers is being stopped, and the lift effect is lost.
That's right. And his point was that there's nothing to push off in space. So
well, a helicopter blade, a propeller blade, does not work the same way a rocket engine does.
Right. So how does a rocket work in space then? So you tell us how you tell us how the rocket pushes off nothing.
All right. First of all, it doesn't push off nothing. I'll explain it. It pushes off of an explosion that is occurring at the back of it, and it is losing mass in one direction. And that loss of mass results in forward momentum. That is how it moves. And you might be wondering, how do they keep that explosion going in a vacuum? Well, it takes a couple things. It takes a oxidizer. It takes the fuel. It takes a special shaped chamber for the fuel to be burned in, and it takes some very special pumps to pump the fuel in there at the proper rate so that it can be burned. And there's another factor called back pressure from the explosion itself that allows it to keep going. So the explosion happens a little bit farther away from where the fuel gets pumped in, and that puts pressure back towards the fuel, making sure that it can't all escape out into the vacuum of space immediately. It comes here, there's back pressure from the initial explosion, and that causes the reaction to continue.
Right. So how did they test all this before they went
on the ground?
Space? On the ground, and they did it in their vacuum chamber. Yeah.
They didn't need to.
Oh, right. They didn't need to. So
they didn't pretty well established by the 20th century.
Right. Hold on a minute. Even a vacuum chamber, right? It's not the same as how I don't understand how you can test for space. Nobody's ever been there.
They didn't send manned missions first. They didn't send manned missions in space first.
I'm not stupid. I know that. Bloody.
All right. So why are you asking? Why are you asking how they tested it? They tested the rockets on the ground, then they sent them to space, and they worked in space, and then they put people in the rockets and put them in space. It's not.
I got a question.
Wow, Louis, do you really believe
slow down the rockets?
You really believe all that, Louis?
Hold on, he does.
Really believe it.
How did they slow down the rockets as they were approaching the moon? Because
the natural momentum, and they do have to slow it down. So what they do is, Hank, is as the rocket is approaching the moon, they don't want to go dead straight at the moon, because that gives them the least amount of time to slow down before they would smash right into it. So they aim for the side. And when they get to about here, the shortest distance from the moon that they will be in that path, they start burning their rocket in the opposite direction. And what that does is it slows their momentum arc, their trajectory, and it wraps it around the moon so So they come into orbit, and then as they're orbiting around, they pick a good landing spot that has good lighting conditions for the time of day to make it easy to recognize ground features. And then they just fire the rocket engine again until the momentum is entirely stopped.
Yeah,
Right. So
Okay,
if that's
I
the
got a
case,
question.
to add what Lewis is saying here is on the Apollo missions, they actually go up a gravity hill, which is the Earth. So the whole time as the spacecraft is leaving the Earth to the moon, it's going uphill. What does that mean? It means the Earth's gravity is constantly pulling on the craft and slowing it down as if it were going up a hill. And they do it in such a way that they need a very small amount of fuel to a very short burn to lower the speed enough to be captured by the moon's gravity.
So
And
why
they go
when
through that
when they use that 30,000 pound rocket to set it off to slow down the effect, why was there no crater underneath the Eagle where it had landed?
Well, that's because
Why was there absolutely zero dust on the thing? Why does it look like it's been made by a couple of kids in a science experiment? It's a joke, man.
That's because in space, the theory goes for the moon as to why it looks the way it looks, like a
hold on. Have you seen that? Have you seen that?
You're throwing like
have
four
you seen
things
that
at me
picture?
all at once. I'd like to start answering them.
Yeah, hold on. Have you seen that picture? What we're talking about?
Yes.
Right, the lunacy lander.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Why does it look the way it looks? Well, one reason is they reenacted parts of that entire thing because they just simply couldn't get the camera angles because that would require them to waste a lot of fuel. They'd have to land, put someone there, set up the camera, take off, and land again for the camera. They didn't want to do that. They didn't engineer the craft for that trip. The moon looks the way it looks, like a kid's drawing, because kids' drawings suck. All right, and the moon.
No, I'm not talking about the moon. I didn't mean the moon. I meant the craft. I meant the craft.
Listen. Oh, the craft? The craft
Yeah,
looks
I didn't
fine.
mean.
What are you complaining about with the craft?
What? You mean curtain rods and fucking? Excuse me for swearing there, but you think there's nothing wrong with that?
Precision engineering.
What was wrong with
it? There's gaps in it. You can see there's tape
they put
used.
the foil heat shielding on. Have you looked at those pictures?
Is there a problem with using tape?
Uh.
What were they using tape on? What parts of the craft did they use tape on? Maybe it didn't matter. Maybe tape was good enough. Oh, maybe.
Lewis, I think you are so adorable.
You
Lewis, I have to tell
you understand that the computers that they used on that they used rope. They used tension. They literally used tension for the memory on their computers.
No, they used the studio.
No, they used rope. The little memory modules had rope with constant tension. By adjusting that tension, they could make various calculations by how that tension's transported throughout the computing system. That's how they did it. And why would they do that? Well, because electrical computers tend to stop working sometimes. And if you're in the vacuum of space out there with no way of getting back, maybe you want something that's not going to be subject to the whims of electrical impulses that can't necessarily be fixed right then and there. And there were a lot of problems on the lunar craft, one of which is they were starting to run out of oxygen. So they had to actually engineer something to recycle their oxygen in addition to the one that they already had. So there are a lot of problems that they didn't quite plan for that they had to adjust for on the fly, and they made it back by the skin of their teeth. So why wasn't there any craters from the engines from the landing? Well, that's because there's no atmosphere, and you have to understand that the natural tendency of things in an atmosphere is when there's air moving for whatever reason. Let's say a rocket engine is blasting shit in one direction. All the other around it, and that initial stream is moving through, gets grabbed by it and moves as well. So you get much stronger, much more turbulent currents of air here on the Earth. In space, you don't get that. You get literally the opposite, where there's nothing, and once it explodes and is lost in all directions, it's all directions. It's dispersed.
Right. The dust on the moon as they're landing.
What about the rooster tail? What about the rooster tail that they showed when they were driving that silly little vehicle?
And if you notice the rooster tail, there's no dust lingering.
What about them?
Yeah, the dust was literally flung into the air. Or not air, but
sound. What about the
Yeah.
sound here? What about the
Yeah,
sound
the
of
sound,
the
yeah.
pounding?
They have
of,
radios. They have
What
radios.
about
No,
when
no,
he
no, no.
threw,
We're not talking
he threw
about that.
away
She's talking.
something? He threw away
Yeah.
something, and
And
you could
also,
hear
Buzz
it
Aldrin.
land. You heard
Buzz
it
Aldrin
land.
used
It's
the
impossible.
hammer. Buzz Aldrin used the hammer on the side of the craft, and you can quite clearly hear it banging,
All right.
bang,
Check
bang,
this out.
bang.
Check this out. What are the suits made of? Aluminum. They're made of aluminum layers inside of a bunch of fabric and
Yeah.
a lot of other very hard
Yeah.
substances on the boots and all the other parts of the people moving around. So where are the microphones? Where's the microphone you're hearing this from? Who knows? But it's probably physically attached to one of the astronauts.
But they
What's
say there's no
attached
sound
to
in
the moon?
space,
The
Louis.
astronauts. What's attached to the moon? The craft. What's attached to the moon? The astronaut holding the hammer.
No,
So
no,
there are
no.
multiple mediums.
this
There are
shit.
multiple mediums for the sound to travel through other than atmosphere.
What about when he threw the hammer and it hit something and you heard the sound pick up on his microphone after it had left his hand?
Well, there's also a delay in radios. I bet you'd find a similar delay in almost everything they did.
I'm not talking about delay. I'm talking
doesn't
about
mean
sound
shit.
traveling through
It
a
actually does. It means a
vacuum.
whole lot, but whatever.
There was no delay. It's funny.
No.
Up
Oh,
to the
that's not
moon,
my
yet
argument.
the
He
ISS
strawmanned
has
me.
to have
Hold
their
on, stop.
8-second delay.
Stop.
Why
He
is it that
strawmanned
the
me.
ISS has
Can
a delay?
someone let
anything.
let Hank say what he's saying, because it's really interesting. Please
I
go
got
on.
strawmanned. I got strawmanned there just now. I didn't say anything
Yeah,
about
you
a delay.
did.
I said when the astronaut threw the hammer, the sound waves shouldn't have been able to travel through a vacuum. And we heard it pick up on
I
the
answered that.
microphone
They travel through the ground and through the suits.
through the ground.
Yep.
Whoa. Whoa.
That happens,
So-
believe it or not.
Louis, do you work
Sound-
for NASA?
No, I deliver food.
You should. In fact, you should replace Bill Nye or Neil Tyson deGrasse because they're
Thanks.
idiots. You at least sound like you know what you're talking about. Because
so
when
do
those
they.
two jokers,
No,
well,
no,
they
no,
don't.
please,
It's an
please.
embarrassment.
Founded
At least you
confidence.
sound like you know
You
what
know,
you're talking
The
about.
guy,
They
this
do too,
unfounded
I promise.
confidence that he has. He doesn't know this. He just reads articles. He reads.
I don't read very much, Briskimo. Stop assuming that you know why I know what I know, because you don't.
Well,
You
we
know,
all
so
read
how
stuff,
do
guys.
you know
We
then?
all read stuff. We all read, and we all
So
watch
how
videos.
do you know
so-
then, Louis? Is it just
well,
in your
how
head,
do,
is
how
it?
do I know? It doesn't matter. The fact is, the things
Oh,
that
no,
I
it
believe
does
produce
matter.
more in the world than the things you believe. Truth, in my opinion, does not matter. The predictions you're able to make matter. So if you guys could come up with a flat Earth model of reality that made more predictions than the globe Earth, I would probably find that to be a more useful model. But you don't have anything even close. You don't have any predictions other than if I let go of this when I drop it, it'll go down. That's like the only one you got.
Yeah, that's about the only one that you've got. You turn
Except
around
we can go to space and make ICBMs and airplanes and engineer all sorts of things like compasses and
yeah, that's
all of
if
it.
you believe in all that crap. We
Yeah.
don't believe in that. Well, I
okay.
personally don't. I don't believe
but-
anything's ever been to space apart from our imagination.
Jonathan,
All
it
right,
doesn't matter.
I want to
what-
talk about chemtrails real quick because it's a
Everything
common
that
one
we
for you
observe.
guys.
Sorry, let that chap just say what he's. Sorry, what did you just say?
The globe models recreates and explains everything that we observe. So don't say that's all we have, is that the dropping thing or whatever it was that you implied is all that we have. The globe matches all of our observations. Flat Earth model matches practically nothing.
Why do you sound
Or
so
what
bitter when you
you-
say that?
Yeah, you really
Why?
hyped up about this.
I hate flat
Yeah,
Earth.
we get piped up about
Don't
it just
say
about
that.
everything.
Don't
It's
Well,
say
a
if you
that.
hate flat Earth,
It's
if
not
you
hate.
hate flat Earth, why are you here? What is
It's,
the
it's
point
not
in?
hate. Jonathan,
Because
it's
I
not
hate it,
wrong.
and I hate
No,
those
no,
things that
Louis,
promote-
don't talk for him. He just said he hates flat Earth.
Yes,
You
I
know,
hate
he
the
said
whole-
it, not you. So
It's a
if you
lie.
hate it, why
It's
are
a
you
lie.
here?
It's
So
a
why
lie.
are you here? Why are
So-
you here then?
People who hate pedophilia shouldn't speak out against it. Fuck yourself.
I mean, why
say
do you
that
speak
either.
out against NASA? You think they're lying. It's no different from him.
Yeah, we
I'm
can
not using
practically
Can you not-
prove
can you not
that
swear,
they're
lie.
lying.
please? No
Hating,
swearing,
hating
please.
it. That's
No
all
swearing.
wrong,
Only
guys. We're all
Nathan can
humans.
tell
We're
me
all
what
searching
not
for
to
the
say,
truth.
not you.
We're all
Then
looking for
show
the truth.
some. Where's the
Actually, that's
video?
not true. He just said
Where's the
Lee just
video
said that
link
he doesn't
link?
care what the truth is. So you can
Yeah, he
count on
did
him to
say that.
straw man and use other fallacies and tell people to shut up. You can count on this guy to be dishonest 100% of the
You're
time.
misrepresenting what he
Hank,
said.
yeah, you didn't understand. I was being very epistemological about that. I thought maybe
Well, that's
you
a
guys
big word.
would take it with a grain of salt and understand the context I was bringing into it. Clearly not. I guess I'll keep those thoughts to myself from now on, since you can't be trusted to understand
Too
them.
late. Too late. You already let the cat out
Yeah,
of
it
the
is
bag. We
too
already
late.
know what you are.
Absolutely. It's absolutely too late. I can always count on a Hank Hill to come in and misunderstand what's going on.
No swearing, please.
Bling, some humans are worthy of hate. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not saying it would be any people here for me personally, but wouldn't you agree that some people are? Just because
What do you
someone's a
mean?
human
No, I
doesn't.
don't, and I'll tell you why no one is worthy of hate. I
I'll
was
back you on
molested.
that, Bling Bling.
I was molested my entire childhood by my brother. Okay, it started when I was 5 years old, and it ended when I was 11, when I got my period. He took my virginity, and my whole life, my parents blamed me for not coming forward as a little girl and telling what was happening to me. And they didn't want to believe me, and my family was against me my whole life, and it was a battle and a struggle, and I really suffered. And it wasn't until my mother died in 2012 that I realized that I had to forgive her for the attitude that she had towards me. And I had to forgive my brother. And when I did that, I became free. I have a tattoo on my arm that represents this. It's me as a little girl cutting a red balloon into the sky that represents the hate and the anger and the betrayal. And then I have a cross that says, forgiven. And it's through Jesus Christ that all things are possible. And I know some of you globe people don't believe in that, and you think we're all religious fanatics, but I had a real experience that proved to me that God really exists.
Well,
So
I do believe in God, and it's really great that you were able to move on in that way. A lot of people are not, and I want to ask,
no one's worthy of hate. No one. No pedophile is worthy of
if
hate.
your
No one.
brother if your brother were still molesting you, would you forgive him?
Oh my word, that I'm 54 years old. That's really hard to wrap my mind around that thought, because I would be fighting back. I wouldn't be allowing it to happen.
Okay,
So
so
I
I mean,
really can't answer that.
the emotions we feel and the conclusions we draw about people are kind of even in the context of forgiveness, they're subject to what they are still currently doing.
Well, I'll tell you, whenever I read a story about some child that's been abused sexually by an adult, by a pedophile, I try to pray for the pedophile as much as I pray for the child, because
Yeah.
obviously the pedophile must have had some traumatic experience in his own childhood or her own childhood for them to act out. I mean, I could have gone that way myself, but I didn't. By the grace of God, I didn't. I went the opposite direction and was very protective of my children.
Well, I
But
mean, that's a really amazing story, and I'm that fills me with joy that you are able to
I wrote a
that you've
book
dealt
called
with
Down the
it.
Rabbit Hole. I
Yeah,
actually I wrote a book about it.
but it
It's
has
true
nothing to do with the
story.
shape of the earth.
No, but you were talking about hate and all this hate.
Right.
It hurts my heart when we as human beings just can't just debate this. We just want the truth. If someone were able to prove to me today that the International Space Station was really there, I would delete all my videos on my channel. I would start supporting them. I would do it in an instant. If I could believe that we lived on this oblate spheroid, I would accept it back like I believed my whole life. But
What kind of
when
proof
I
do you
st-
want?
I don't know. When I watch the
What do you want?
ISS videos and I see the inconsistencies, and if you watch my most recent video where it clearly shows his hand with little white dots cut out all around it. I mean, how can you explain that back as that's real? I mean, why is that happening? If they're really there, why do they need to fake all this stuff?
Uh, I
Well, he
don't know
said
what
earlier
video
they
you're
didn't
talking
fake it. He
about.
said they
Well,
reenact it. Right, so they reenact things that they couldn't film on the lunar surface. So,
All right,
reenactment, that's not,
the
trickery, especially
ISS.
when it's recorded off of a projector screen and presented to the people as if it was live, even though it
Yeah.
wasn't.
ISS.
That's not dishonesty. The truth doesn't matter. It only matters what the
No,
majority of
Hank,
people
when
believe.
they re-record things, when they reenact things, that's so that people can have an idea of exactly what happened. It's actually something they don't have to do. It's something that's been requested by people by the likes of yourself. And now that they do that, you call it fake. So, round of applause for yet again
I
misunderstanding what
requested
people are doing.
for fakery. Is that what happened?
They don't claim that it's real. They announce that it's a reenactment. They say it's a reenactment. You're the one assuming that they're lying about the original enactment.
But what about the International Space Station and the fact that they're constantly having groups of schools or universities and having these live events, and they're doing things that are obviously trickery. I mean, if you watch my channel, you'll see Peggy in the background pulling herself along a wire. I mean, why is that happening? Why is it that Thomas from France was playing with the beach ball, and I took some still shots, some screenshots, and I could see the white dots all around his hand? I mean, why would that be there if it was real and he was really playing with a beach ball? Why would there be white dots outlining his hand if it wasn't
I
some
have no
augmented
idea.
virtual reality?
Now,
I
anybody
mean,
want to see what she's talking about?
There are a lot of videos of the ISS. There are a lot of them, and
I'm just going to interrupt these guys, although they can't hear me. So just to say, if you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There's going to be a few more minutes left in this live stream, so if anybody wants to get in some last minute trolling, you're welcome to do so. Simply click on the link on the info box below this video. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside. There are only a couple of rules, as Curved Water has already broken the only rule pretty much that's here, which is please do not swear. So on that note, I'm going to hand back to the panel, and that'll be pretty much it in maybe a couple of minutes' time. So if there's any desperate points that need to be made, now is the time to make them.
Okay. Thank you for singling me out, Nathan, as I'm the only one that broke it. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Anytime.
It's forgiven. It's forgiven and forgotten. But Lewis, I get all the footage directly from the NASA channel that they provide. I take that and I download it onto my computer, and then I study it, and I spend a lot of time doing it. And I always seem to find something that is a huge inconsistency with reality. Why would they need to do that if they were really up there? What would be the
And you
point?
got these videos on your channel?
Yes, sir, I do.
I'll check them out.
Okay, I would appreciate that. I mean, I just want the truth as well. I believed in all this stuff. I did. I loved space. I loved the whole thing. But,
you can expect me in your comments.
And that's great. I used to filter. I don't anymore. I let people swear at me, call me names. It just bounces off of me now. I'm really resilient and hard shelled. And again, it's from my childhood. I'm very tough. So I'm fine with people coming at me, and sometimes I'll respond. There's too many comments to be able to respond to everyone, but I don't do anything to these videos. I mean, I'm just producing what's there and showing it. And it's really weird. I mean, and why do they shoot the rocket off and not just have a camera all the way through? It's always like you see the rocket leave the Earth and then cut to we're in space. Why isn't there a continuous stream of a rocket actually taking off from Earth and going into space?
Well, I would say that has a lot to do, unfortunately, with how the various ways of getting to space are segmented in authority. So NASA, they probably don't do it. And I agree it should be done because it'd be cool. It'd be very cool.
They put a camera on the bottom of the rocket. Why can't they put one on the top of the rocket so we can see the whole journey?
They can and they should. I agree, Jonathan. That's something that if I were sending rockets to space, I would do. I can't answer for them, but SpaceX does not have the same capabilities and authority to do that. And they seem like just the type of people to do that. They would be able to connect to other satellites and keep a continuous feed going back down to the ground so you could see it the whole time.
Can I just get one?
Don't have the resources and the networking to do that. NASA almost certainly does. So you kind of have a point there, but at the same time, they don't have to do it.
No, they don't. Can I just put one last thing in, people, because we're about to get cut on time here, right?
Do it already.
hold on, Louis. You said about there are lots of images, which there are of people saying that they can see the ISS from
can
the
too.
ground and they take pictures of it, right? This
Yep, and you
thing
can
is hold on, wait a minute. This thing is the size of bit bigger than the 747 and or the size of an American football field, right?
It's a little bit smaller than the football field.
Right,
Yeah.
hold on, and it's 249 miles away.
Yep.
Right? What makes a human think that they can see through all those layers of atmosphere and we can see this thing 250 miles?
And with that, I'm going to end the stream there. So a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you who have joined us in the live audience. It's been an enormous pleasure, and you've been very cordial in the chat, as have all of the people who have joined us on the live panel. These shows will run infrequently, so if you would like to join the next one, as with this one, feel free to click on the link in the info box below this video to join the debate live. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.